Ladies and gentlemen, tonight we are live and ready for action for the NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series once again this season in the running of the Heart of America 200 at the Kansas Speedway here on this Saturday night. Thanks for everybody tuning in. I apologize for whatever reason I ended up putting the start of the stream at 7:30. As you may have saw, it wasn't supposed to start till 8. That's what I had in the community tab all week, so I don't know why I set it for that. So sorry if you were waiting a half hour. It was originally scheduled for 8 o'clock. Here we are. The command to fire engines, I believe, is, I don't know if it already happened or not. I was actually just eating dinner downstairs, just got up here, but we shouldn't be too far away from the drop of the green flag. All things considered, we'll probably be going green within about 10 minutes from now. We'll go through the starting lineup of today's race while we are waiting, and then we will go through the point standings following that as well. Actually, no, they are about to give the command right here, so I'll let you listen into this first.
Drivers, start your engine!
That came from the soul. Thanks for everybody tuning in, though, here today. Once again, be sure to hit that like button, subscribe for more daily NASCAR content. We have live commentary streams for every NASCAR Xfinity Truck and Cup Series races throughout the course of the NASCAR season. Of course, for the races I do go to in person, though, we have race highlight videos from the grandstands that we upload on the channel as well. Another Truck Series race following an off week last week for the Truck Series. So we'll get into this one today and cut through today's starting lineup for the Heart of America 200 at Kansas. Christian Eckes will be on the pole trying to go for his second win of the season. His only win thus far has come at Atlanta on a super speedway, trying to win on a different style of mile and a half here today. Kyle Busch with one win this season as well. Also a win on a mile and a half at Las Vegas early in the year. Chase Purdy and Jake Garcia will be in row 2 for this one here today. Great starting spot for Garcia, best in his young truck career. Ben Rhodes and Nick Sanchez will be in row 3. Ben Rhodes still looking for his first win of the season. In fact, Thor Sport Racing as an organization still looking for their first win. Zane Smith and Tanner Gray will be in row 4. Zane Smith, a couple of wins already this season, looking for more playoff points today. Ty Majeski, Daniel Dye will round out the top 10 in row number 5. Grant Enfinger and Corey Heim will be in row 11. Corey Heim won the most recent truck race at Martinsville just a few weeks ago. And then Raja Carruth and Stuart Friesen will be behind those two in row number 7. Colby Howard and Haley Deegan will be starting in row 8 tonight. Ross Chastain, Matt DiBenedetto in row 4. Chastain making his 4th truck start of the season. Taylor Gray and Carson Hocevar will be in row number 10. Matt Crafton and Dean Thompson in row number 11. Thompson had a lot of speed in the last mile and a half race at Texas. We'll see if he'll have similar speed today. Tyler Ankrum and Tony Breidinger will be in row number 12. Breidinger making her first start today for Tricon Garage. Chris Wright and Brendan Poole will be in row 13. Johnny Sauter coming back to run this race, his first start of the truck season. He'll be on the inside of row 14 with Brett Holmes to his outside. In row 15 will be Josh Reaume and Tyler Hill. Row number 16 behind them will be Nick Lights and Justin Carroll. And then row 17 will be Mason Maggio and Lawless Allen. Row 18, rounding out the field, will be Tim Veens and Spencer Boyd. Doran Davis, T. Van, Terry Lewis, and others, welcome into the stream. You guys are the first in the chat down below. Our goal will be 100 likes on tonight's stream, so we'll see if we can get there. Appreciate the support that you guys give me on this weekly basis. Love doing these streams for you guys on the race weekends, and we'll have many more to come, obviously, throughout the course of the year. Time to take a look at the Truck Series point standings coming into the next round here today. Pull this up real quick so you guys can get a glimpse of it. Ty Majeski is currently a regular season points leader through the first 7 races. There are 16 regular season races for the Truck Series, so after tonight we will be exactly halfway through the regular season. 5 top 5s, 6 top 10s, but still winless on the year for Majeski. He has only led 4 laps this season. He is starting in the top 10 today. We'll see if he can have another good consistent run, hopefully lead more laps. Zane Smith, who is the most winningest driver this year with 2 wins in the Truck Series season, is sitting second in points behind him. He has 26 points below the regular season points leader. Ben Rhodes also in third place Other drivers who are locked in with a win into the playoffs this year would include Carson Hocevar with a win at Texas, Corey Heim with a win at Martinsville, Christian Eckes with a win at Atlanta, Zane Smith has won at Coda and Daytona, and then Kyle Busch won at Las Vegas earlier this year. Obviously, the 51 truck would be in the owners' playoffs. Kyle Busch running for Cup points, and Joey Logano has a win this season as well at Dirt Bristol. I mentioned ThorSport Racing hasn't won this year. Logano actually won in a ThorSport truck at Dirt Bristol. No Truck Series regular for ThorSport Racing has won, though, this season. The playoff cutoff line, though, coming into this race today, it is a tie between Chase Purdy and Nick Sanchez, a couple of Chevrolet drivers. They are tied for that last spot coming in today. Matt DiBenedetto, only 11 points to the good over Nick Sanchez as well. And Jake Garcia starts in the 4th place position. We'll have to look out for him. He's 12th in points right now. He is 22 points behind Sanchez and Purdy. And Carson Hocevar is the only driver with a win who is below the final spot. Actually, I didn't even realize this because of the way the point standings are here. It kind of makes it a little wonky. Hocevar is below 10th with the win, so actually Matt DiBenedetto holds the last spot right now above the cutoff line. And then again, he is 11 points ahead of Purdy and Sanchez. So actually, DiBenedetto has the last spot above the cutoff line, not Chase Purdy.
Night.
All right, Zane, have a great night.
Thanks.
Him saying last year went really well might be the understatement of the evening. We talked about him earlier, leading over 100 of 134 laps, got a stage win, and picked up what was then his 3rd win of the season. Before we go green, let's check in one more time with our pit reporters. Back down to Josh Sims.
Well, Adam, Kansas will always be a special place for Ross Chastain, who's in the 41 truck tonight. This is where he got his first career truck win back in 2019, and he told me that win changed the trajectory of his career. He said that gave him another shot to run full-time in the Cup Series. If it wasn't for that win, he's not sure he would have this attempt that he does now. Well, he's got his work cut out for him tonight. They had a power steering issue during practice. They had to change that out after practice and qualifying, so he's going to have to drop to the rear to start the race, Amanda.
Other people that are going to have their work cut out for them tonight are the 3 drivers that raced in the ARCA race earlier. It was a runner-up finish for Dean Thompson. Taylor Gray came in 3rd, and making her Craftsman trucks debut tonight, Tony Bredinger finished 11th. She did have to sneak by the infield care center after the race to get some fluids, was feeling a bit exhausted, but said she's going into a mindset with this race to just play it off on this milestone moment. But we all know there is nothing quite like a first race.
No doubt going to be a fun story to watch for us this evening as Tony makes her first ever start here and doing it in very good equipment. Tricon has been delivering all season long for owner David Gilliland.
Very respectable qualifying effort for her as well. There's our first onboard camera. We're hopping on with Matt Crafton. We're going to ride along with him. Look at this view out that front windshield. It's going to be so much fun to watch him dice it up and do battle tonight. And there you go.
All right.
That's the old driver's eyeball. I got coming at you at home. Kevin, tell people, this is exactly what it feels like to drive one of these things.
Well, it definitely feels like this to me because I can't see very well right here as he's looking, because he's looking at his tack, right? So this is not a speedometer. This is not anything like you have in your street car. You have to do it off of RPM and those lights as you go down pit road. So one light too many,
You're in trouble.
Probably a ticket. 88 to the rear.
That's right. And then we're also going to hop on the 43, the Race to Stop Suicide onboard camera. You can see Daniel Dye there in his cockpit getting ready to do battle from the 10th position. He's always, we call him our in-race reporter because he always seems to dive through and just barely miss the crashes along the way. Let's see if we can get a word with Ross Chastain. He's heading to the back, which is fun for us.
Great.
Let's see how he feels about it. Ross Chastain, you're slow on the back straightaway. Come in, it's Michael Waltrip.
Oh, darn it, Mikey, am I doing this wrong?
No, I heard you're going to the back, and we're sorry for you, but we're happy for us because you're going to be a thrill to watch come through the field. How you feeling about the 41 truck tonight, bud?
Pretty good, man. Mike Kelman Jr., boys and girls at East Motorsports, they keep bringing fast trucks. We're going to get these mechanical gremlins out of our system. It's a dream to drive them. Not how we've been drawing up the starts, but we keep bringing fast trucks like this. We'll be all right.
Yeah, you'll be smashing watermelons before you know it. Have fun, bud. We're looking forward to watching.
Yes, sir. Thanks.
talk about big-name drivers dropping to the rear. I said it jokingly when we were anticipating that perhaps the tack was not where Matt Crafton wanted it to be. The reality is he does have to go to the rear because he, too, had an unapproved adjustment after qualifying earlier today. Shouldn't be a problem for him because he, like Kyle Busch, has won here on 3 different occasions. In fact, the last time he won in Truck Series competition was here in 2020. That's 65 races ago, but as Michael would point out to everyone, that is not a winless streak, right?
That doesn't count.
I've had longer.
Yeah. I had one that was a little longer.
Corey Heim, our most recent winner, rolling 12th tonight.
We just got to go with it or not. Get us in position. And our goal here is to win stages, laps, and win the race. So, yeah, appreciate you guys. I think we're going to be pretty solid here. So, keep working on it all night if we need to, and be there.
I think that's an interesting conversation, and I think from a racetrack standpoint, knowing what you're getting ready to expect on the restarts, you know you have to go where they're not. And the other thing that does is it keeps a little bit of air on the front of the vehicle to help the front end turn. But you literally have to do what you have to do to try to keep the pedal down to keep your momentum going, so that you can put yourself in a position to pass as many as you can on these restarts.
So as you hear, Adam Alexander, Kevin Harvick, and Michael Waltrip on the call for Fox Sports 1 tonight. Your stage splits will be 30, 30, and 74 for today's race, and will not have to pit at all in the first 2 stages. They'll pit during the stage break between stage 1 and stage 2 so they can make it on fuel to the end of the second stage, but the final stage, they will have to make a stop if we do get a long enough green flag run. Regine Huddleston, Brett Whitesides, Tim Irvin, Daniel Kyle, Busch fan, Frank Powers, Harry T., and others also welcome into the stream. Sorry if I have not shouted you out yet. Pace truck is already on pit road. The launch on the start for Christian Eckes as he leads the field to the green. We're underway at Kansas. 200 miles, 134 laps of racing to come. 3 wide already for second place into the first turn. Kyle Busch spun his tires on the outside of row 1 on the start, already losing about 5 or 6 positions. Still 3 wide to the outside with a couple trucks underneath him, the 23 and the 98. 3 wide now for about third place is Zane Smith. Sandwiches the 4 truck there of Chase Purdy down on the bottom. Busch still ripping the outside near the wall. He pulls alongside Zane Smith, who is busy side drafting the 23 of Enfinger on the bottom. Busch quickly gets back to third and passed about 3 trucks and a half a lap. Jake Garcia, who started at 4th behind him, also lost a couple spots after Busch spun his tires. Garcia falls to about 7th and is on the outside working his way around Majeski in the 98 and is right in line behind defending champion Zane Smith. Close quarters racing between the 43 and 15 trucks of Tanner Gray and Daniel Dye as well as they go through turns 3 and 4. Dye moving around a lot in the middle lane. Matt DiBenedetto down to the bottom, taking the shortcut through the apron in the tri-oval as he tries to get by both him and Hocevar. A little bit of contact between Zane Smith and Grant Enfinger, which allowed Busch to clear through the tri-oval the last lap. It was more than just a side draft, I guess. Eckes leads the first 2 laps of the race tonight, half a second already ahead of Ben Rhodes. That was a major dive going into 3 and 4 for Majeski to get to the inside of Enfinger as they battle for 6th on the racetrack, holding up Jake Garcia behind them as they continue to run side by side. Couple drivers starting at the rear of the field trying to make their way through as quickly as possible would be Ross Chastain, Matt Crafton. Not many spots have been gained yet for them. Haley Deegan also had to drop to the rear at the start of the race tonight. And all 3 of those drivers are battling amongst each other. Stuart Friesen, the tail end of the field. Chastain drafting up behind Dean Thompson. The outside lane. Clears the 52, pulls to the bottom, slingshots his way by Thompson. Not quite. He tried the slide job maneuver, didn't really work out. Thompson almost ended up in the outside wall. He didn't have a lot of room to try to make the exit of the corner with Chastain underneath him. That failed pass attempt will open up the inside now for Friesen to get underneath the 41. Chastain's rear of his race truck, I should say, coming around on him in turns 3 and 4 a bit. Definitely has a looser setup to start this race off. Gavin loves NASCAR. Thanks for tuning in as well. Dale Campbell also welcome to the stream. Yeah, I can't show the actual race itself, but giving you guys the live commentary as usual. Copyright reasons, the reason why I cannot show the race. Stream will get taken down. We saw that with our Throwback Thursday stream yesterday, which we're still trying to get function out. Hopefully we can get back to doing that. We may end up having that tomorrow before the Cup race. Rhodes closing the gap slowly on Christian Eckes as well as Kyle Busch in third place, so we've got a slight battle for the lead. Going into turns 3 and 4, Ben Rhodes down to the bottom of the track. Eckes on the outside near the wall is going to give up the race lead. Ben Rhodes is going to clear him off of turn 4. Eckes off the high side will have a run through the tri-ovals. He tries to get back after Rhodes, but it isn't going to work. Rhodes trying to block now through the tri-oval as they head to turn 1. Eckes back to the bottom. Side drafts the 99 before pulling down to the white lane. Kyle Busch a little closer to the wall than what Rhodes is on the outside. Eckes is not going to be able to stay alongside of the 99 of Rhodes, and Ben Rhodes is out in front of Kansas after Eckes led the first 6 laps of the race. Lap 7 was led by the 99. Kyle Busch now quickly closing on Eckes for second. Huge run off turn 4 for the 51 of Busch as he goes for second place. Into the tri-oval, looks to the outside. Eckes with a block. Stays in front of the 51. Rowdy down to the bottom now. Try to make his way around Eckes. That's not going to work, and he'll have to dive back in line behind him just like Eckes did with Rhodes in 1 and 2 the lap before. Top 3 trucks within about a half a second of each other, and then Chase Purdy in 4th is about 1.2 seconds back and about a full 7/10 of a second behind Busch. Marvin Davis also welcome into the stream.
Should have had the pole. I made a slight mistake during qualifying. I took my foot off the gas because I nearly wrecked, but he said, I have a very, very good truck, and this could be a very good night for him. And this is a guy that is very upset that he's 3rd in the points right now. He said he looks at years past, and he's been way ahead of where he is right now. 3rd in the points, not bad for most guys, but for Ben Rhodes, a champion, he said that's not good enough.
Not where he wants to be, but a huge advantage over the cut line. He'll be running for a title later this season. Ben Rhodes.
Once again, 4 drivers are locked into the Truck Series playoffs, virtue of wins right now, so 6 spots still open. Those 4 spots have been held up now by Christian Eckes, Zane Smith, Corey Heim, and Carson Hocevar. And 2 different Cup regulars have gone to victory lane already this year as well. Eckes still holds on to second, holding up Kyle Busch a little bit, and Rhodes is getting away slightly, a 7/10 of a second lead, as Fox is on their first commercial break of the night. Top 10 right now. Ben Rhodes again in the race lead, 7/10 of a second ahead of Eckes, as I just mentioned. Kyle Busch is in 3rd place, 1.1 seconds off the lead. Chase Purdy is 1.5 seconds back in 4th, and then Zane Smith rounds out the top 5. He's 2.1 seconds off the lead. Grant Enfinger is in 6th, 2.4 back. Ty Majeski in 7th, 4.6 seconds off the lead. Jake Garcia in 8th place, 4.8 seconds off the lead. Corey Heim in 9th, 5.6 back, and Nick Sanchez rounds out the top 10. He's 6 seconds off the race lead. Fish King 883, thanks for tuning in. Got 90 people watching already. Appreciate everybody tuning in tonight. Be sure to hit the like button and subscribe for more daily NASCAR content. Our goal is 100 likes on the stream today. We're on the road to 5,000 subscribers on the channel. And by the way, I hadn't mentioned it until just today, actually. And I meant to make a community tab post earlier in the week. But last week's NASCAR Cup race for the live commentary stream at Dover on Monday, nonetheless, not even a Sunday race, was our 3rd most watched race of the season. It was the most watched race for a race on FS1 on the channel as well. So for that to be a Monday race, I appreciate everybody that was able to tune in, whether you were tuning in from work, from school, or wherever it was. Thanks for you guys coming out on a Monday afternoon. I really appreciate that. I thought that was honestly going to kind of hurt the channel for the week, viewership-wise, and it most certainly did not. So thanks, everybody, for staying in and staying tuned in, I should say, and even with the race being middle of a weekday. Hopefully we don't have any more rain issues the rest of the year. I'm sure we'll run into it with some races. It's such a long season when you have 2 to 3 races in the same weekend. You know, you're bound to run into issues like that from time to time. Truck Series has actually had some issues with 2 races getting rain shortened already this year, and I think the Xfinity Series has had a couple of later starts as Well, Auto Club got postponed to a Sunday night, and then I think, what was it, Martinsville, where they got postponed like 2 hours or something like that at the start of the race? No, it was the truck series. My bad, the truck race did before it got rained out because they had the rain tires on at the start. Back from the commercial break right now, Kyle Busch is in second place. Christian Eckes has quickly fallen back. Zane Smith is now just behind him. Smith passed Purdy for fourth as well. We're halfway through stage 1, 15 laps down, 15 still to go, racing to lap 30. And again, the top 10 receive bonus points, 1 point per position, and a playoff point is awarded to the stage winner if they are a truck regular, of course. And Kyle Busch is quickly going after Ben Rhodes for the lead. Zane Smith pulls to the inside of Eckes into turns 1 and 2 for third. Big side draft. Pulls down to the bottom. A little slide job by Smith, and he is easily clear off turn 2. Purdy and Enfinger very close in a battle as well for fifth on the racetrack as Purdy holds on to his positioning for now. All three KBM trucks are inside the top 10, including the affiliated number 2 truck as well of Nick Sanchez. Mark Witkowski, iRacing 413, thanks for tuning in. Yeah, Johnny Sauter making the start. I actually didn't realize that until I just turned the race on. Right before the start of the stream, I was like, oh, I see Johnny Sauter's in the field tonight. Okay. In the 04 truck. Kyle Busch is running about a half a lane off the wall right now, just trying to get a little bit of clean air on the nose. Ben Rhodes trying to take his line away by running the outside as well, so Busch got to within 3 to 4 tenths of a second of Rhodes, but he hasn't been able to pull closer as he's in a little bit of a dirty air bubble.
Losing the front of the truck, so you'll see Kyle going into turn 3. In turn 1 and 2 here, he's a little bit higher through the center, but when he goes into turn 3, that's the direction that the wind has been blowing all day and still is. He'll kind of creep down a little bit over that seam to try to keep some air on the front of the truck to be able to make it through the center.
Kyle Busch is strong, so his teammate Chase Purdy, he's hanging in early, Michael.
Yeah, he's running in the 4th position. I'm just curious. Oh, look at that. We saw some slipping and sliding there for Chase. Let's hear what he's saying on the radio.
Also pretty clever does he need here. Clear. Come on, man. Look. These two guys are dragging us back. We're faster than KB and he's 35 ahead of you. Come on. Look at that 19. He ain't better than you. Don't let him think he's better than you.
Wow, that
was exciting.
I might have to say, could you turn your radio off, please? I don't know if you're watching on TV, but I'm sideways. I'm hanging on for all I got.
Chase Purdy is very, very loose in that 4 truck as he is having a hard time trying to hang on to it. He just passed Eckes, and Enfinger as well going to get by Eckes. Eckes has dropped now from 2nd about 5 laps ago back to 6th. Purdy on the outside near the wall still. Enfinger trying to ride the middle lane, and then the 19. One truck is around. It is Lights in the number 20. He spins off turn 2 in front of the leaders. And caution flag is out. Now, he did get the truck locked up in time before he smoked the inside wall, so no damage on the 20 truck of Nick Lights. But he will be the benefactor, or I should say not the benefactor. This is not benefiting him whatsoever, but he is going to save the race truck at least. Be putting 4 fresh tires back on it. Washed up the racetrack, and around he went. Barely kept it off the outside wall as well. Might have had contact from behind. I think it was Tony Breidinger. It was right behind the 20 of Lights when Lights had spun. There wasn't contact that caused the spin, though. It was just a matter of if she got checked up in time. I think she did. It was very close, though. Mike George, thanks for tuning in. 100 people watching already. We're only 22 laps into tonight's NASCAR truck race, the Heart of America 200 at the Kansas Speedway. Listening live on KRC here on the channel. Be sure to subscribe for more daily NASCAR content. We have 5,000 on the road to 5,000 subs as of right now. And again, the goal 100 likes for tonight's race as well. Going to a commercial break on Fox right now. We will stay right here with you guys until the end of stage 1 before we take our first break. It'll be very interesting. Restart with probably just north of 5 laps left in the stage. I'd probably imagine we'll go green with 6 or 7 laps left in stage 1. Some of the faster trucks here at the start of the race, definitely the 2 leaders, Ben Rhodes, Kyle Busch, and then Zane Smith picking up a few spots to get to third right before the caution came out. This is a big-time caution, I think, for Chase Purdy, who is definitely struggling with the balance of his race truck. It's less green flag laps he's going to have to hang on for before they throw fresh tires back on the number 4 truck at the end of stage 1 during the break. I think, I'm not sure who the free pass is going to go to here. 33 truck of Josh Reaume. No, he's not in the 33. Mason Maggio in the 33 will get the free pass. So Maggio will get back on the lead lap. Leaders were just starting to lap trucks as that caution flag came out. Ben Rhodes already eclipsing 16 laps led and counting. Drakis again led the first 7 from the pole today, but has fallen back to 6th place before the caution. Have to work on the long run speed of that race truck as well. So a lot of long green flag runs at Texas until the end of the race, where we had a few cautions in the final 20 laps, including an overtime restart, which eventually led to Carson Hocevar winning the race. But the first 2 stages are fairly smooth. And I thought that's how this first stage was going to start off there up until that spin by a truck towards the back of the pack. God Rides a Harley, thanks for tuning in as well. We'll have 6 laps to go, by the way, on the restart. I believe the field has gotten the 1 to go signal already. Oh, never mind. No, they haven't even opened pit road yet after the spin. It's a little confusing. There was no damage from that spin. We're down to 6 to go. We may see some drivers pit this time, sacrificing stage points so they can restart at the front of the field for stage 2, and then drivers who are maybe outside the top 10 will stay out and try to get some points. I would not be surprised if the drivers of Matt Kraft and Haley Deegan and Stuart Friesen, who started deep in the field tonight, had to drop to the rear at the start of the race if they stay out to try to get some stage points. Although there are some drivers towards the front of the field that are also pitting. Ben Rhodes leads some of them into the pits.
Ben Rhodes decided they were going to come in and pit. He said that truck was starting to get looser and looser as that run went on, but he doesn't want any adjustments. He said when the sun goes down, he feels like they're going to get more grip. Amanda?
It was a debate for Kyle Busch in the 51, going back and forth with his team on if he wanted track position now or later, but simply the truck is just too tight everywhere. The team was suggesting that they go ahead and make changes like they did in Vegas as they get back to this race.
That's interesting. I thought Ben Rhodes would stay out, but I was wrong. And you know, these teams, and Kevin, you live this, they have a playbook, and it says if the caution comes out now, we're pitting or we're not, and they have those decisions pretty much made before the race starts.
Well, the tires are such an advantage too. I think some of these guys are going to get back up into the points paying positions here at the end of this stage, but I think for me, the things that I heard right there is I want Kyle Busch's truck being a little bit too tight. I'm a little bit worried about Ben Rhodes' truck being a little bit too loose. I like the truck that's a little bit too tight right there, right now.
Yeah, because I think we see this a lot. The sun goes down, the track cools off, and the front ends are so precise on these trucks.
Grippier.
They start turning better, and the back end struggles to keep up with all that action. So that's something.
Typically, you want your car or truck to be a little bit too tight because as the run goes, it seems to free up and get better. If you start loose and you end loose, then it seems like it just gets looser, and as it gets darker, it seems to do the same.
I had 6 or 7 lead lap trucks that stayed on track, which means all those drivers that came down pit road going to be in a great position to drive up there and gain some stage points as we wrap up this opening stage.
So our leaderboard is now updated following the pit stops as you saw moments ago.
You're right. I think maybe you assume where we're going to fit, but our number, yes. We never changed that number. We probably should have specified. It's all good. 4 commands.
Did we just have a miscommunication?
I think so.
That won the race for Kyle Busch and
Yeah, so only 7 trucks stay out of the pits there. Zane Smith, Chase Purdy, Christian Eckes, Ty Majeski, Jake Garcia, Corey Hyman, Brendan Poole were the drivers that stayed out of the pits. 8th on back, we'll have 4 fresh Goodyears. Caution came out at lap 20, so about 20 lap fresher tires for everybody 8th on back. It's going to be tough on if those drivers up at the front are going to be able to actually hang on to try to get the stage win. Yeah, this has been a very lengthy caution for a single truck spin that didn't cause any damage on any vehicle in the field from it. Everybody escaped. It was at the back of the pack. The only truck that had to miss was the 1, and then the 20 didn't even hit the wall either. Neither the inside or the outside wall for that matter, so I'm not sure why the caution is as lengthy as it is. We're going to have 3 laps left in stage 1. I was expecting, honestly, to go green between 6 or 7 to go in the stage. It's one thing I've noticed with the Truck Series and even the Xfinity Series from time to time, the cautions are very lengthy for whatever reason. They have not given the 1 to go signal this time by either. So, I thought they were going to give the 1 to go that time. They still haven't. So now we're running down to the point where we're only going to have 2 laps left in the stage when we go green. That's going to benefit the drivers who stayed out of the pits. Because originally it was looking, in my eyes, like it was going to be anywhere right around 6 laps, honestly, is what I was thinking, about 6 to go in the restart, but instead we're going to have 2 laps left. So that's a less amount of time that Zane Smith is going to have to try to hold the field off to get this stage win. And they did get the 1 to go signal this time for sure. Front row, Zane Smith and Chase Purdy. Zane Smith will be the control car in the bottom. Christian Eckes and Ty Majeski will be in row 2. Corey Heim, Jake Garcia, row 3. Kyle Busch, Brendan Poole, row 4. And then Ben Rhodes and Grant Enfinger will be back in row 5. So Daniel Dye, one of the more notable drivers, at least, that had a pit road penalty, uncontrolled tire penalty during his stop. He'll be at the tail end of the field. A couple of other drivers were too fast for speeding, but those of which were already Lights, actually, who was the reason for the caution, had a pit road speeding penalty. And then also Mason Maggio had a pit road speeding penalty. And he was the driver who just got the free pass to get back on the lead lap. So he was going to have to restart at the tail end of the field anyway. So 2 to go, stage 1, this time by the start-finish line. And it'll be a 2-lap shootout. Green flag back in the air. One truck goes down below the white line, trying to make it 3 wide for second into the corner. It's Corey Heim in the 11, and his teammate Kyle Busch follows him from behind on the 4 fresh tires. Eckes is going to get clear by the 51. Maybe slight contact, it looked like, between Majeski and Eckes on the outside lanes. Heim is blocking Kyle Busch, who takes it 3 wide for second place under the other 2 KBM Chevrolets in the middle of the corner. He gets by Heim, and he's going to get by the Ford truck as well. 1 lap for Zane Smith to try to hold off Kyle Busch. Busch has 20-lap fresher tires. Playoff point on the line for Zane Smith. He is going to go to the middle lane. He's just mirror driving right now on Kyle Busch. Busch to the outside and is not going to get there. Zane Smith shuts the door. Nope, not quite. He looked like he was clear, hesitated, and now he's on the bottom lane as they go into turns 3 and 4. Busch is slightly clear in the middle. Ben Rhodes to the top. The 38 slides the rear tires on the bottom and will have to fall in line in third behind Ben Rhodes. It'll be Kyle Busch winning stage 1 at Kansas. Busch wins stage 1, Ben Rhodes second, Zane Smith third, Grant Enfinger fourth, and Chase Purdy rounds out the top 5. Roger Caruth 6th, Tyler Ankrum 7th, Corey Heim 8th, Carson Hocevar 9th, and Haley Deegan rounds out the top 10 in this first stage. And Busch pitting, restarting at 7th, goes from 7th to 1st in 2 laps to win the stage on the 20-lap fresher tires. Couple of moments on that restart, I guess. The 15 truck about wiped out going into turn 1 on the final lap of the stage, and then it looked like Nick Sanchez off turn 4 got really loose right in front of him as well. So we are at the stage 1 end. We'll take a quick break here, and then we'll get back with the action on the other side. Only 7 trucks will end up hitting pit road during this stage break. Those 7 that obviously stayed out to try to get some stage points. No stage win came of those 7, though. As Kyle Busch wins the first stage. His first lap led of the night was that final lap of the stage, which was lap 30. You're watching the Heart of America 200. Live on KRC for the NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series at Kansas Speedway. NASCAR Fan Forever 14, thanks for tuning in. I did see William Byron supposed to be on the pole for this weekend. Look at the starting lineup for the Cup Series race tomorrow real quick. Byron's on the pole. Larson starts second. Chastain and Truex row 2. Reddick, Logano row 3. Ty Gibbs, Denny Hamlin row 4. Then Suarez and Blaney are all starting in the top 10. Yeah, Josh Berry qualified 29th today. I was kind of surprised how far back he was. Considering he has 2 teammates on the front row. Same kind of goes for Chase Elliott. I've noticed Chase Elliott hasn't qualified very well since he came back from his leg injury. He's been running like... He's not up there competing for wins. Well, Talladega he was, I guess. But outside of Talladega, the Super Speedway, he's had decent speed. Not as fast as the 24 and the 5. But he's had decent speed. He's not looking off. Qualifying, he's been looking off, but I think he qualified like just inside the top 30 at Martinsville a couple weeks ago. Had just a terrible lap. Phil Moore, thanks for tuning in also. Pit row will be open this time for the drivers who did not pit to end up pitting now. Everybody else who did pit will more than likely stay out. Might see some drivers at the tail end of the lead lap top off on fuel. But that would probably be about it. Zane Smith, Chase Purdy, Corey Heim, Ty Majeski, Christian Eckes, and Jake Garcia are in the pits.
Stage 1. Josh?
Yeah, and we had that miscommunication with the 98 team when Majeski did not pit during that last caution. Crew Chief Joe Shear told him, just calm down, we're going to get it back. In terms of the truck getting a little free, so they said in addition to those 4 tires of fuel, they're going to tighten them up. Amanda?
We see Chase Purdy making his way for his pit stop. It is his 60th truck race here today. Said these last 7 races have made leaps and bounds as a driver under the KBM banner. And for Corey Heim, Martinsville race winner, things have been smooth so far in the race. Haven't heard much from him. And for Zane Smith, said that in the starting part of this race, he was free in turn 3, tight on the bottom, and needed overall grip ahead of the second stage.
So Zane Smith wins the race off pit row, but he's actually going to end up restarting pretty deep in the field. It'll be interesting to see if these trucks can get their way through. Looks like they're having some problems trying to jack up the left side of Corey Heim's race truck on pit road. They actually had to pull out a second jack to jack the rear of the race truck up. They have changed that left front tire now, and Heim going to pull off of pit road, so he'll have to restart the deepest of those that pitted. With the caution for the stage break, Spencer Boyd in the 12 will get the free pass to get back on the lead lap in 31st. Tim Vaines out of the race today. Looked like a start and park for him, as he ran 2 laps and then pulled off the racetrack, but the other 35 trucks still in this race, and again with 31 on the lead lap. Stage 2 will be 30 laps in distance, so they'll be racing to lap 60 for more stage points. And we will see more pit stops once again, unless we get a caution before the end of the stage, just like we did here, and maybe seeing some split strategy. Although I think it's more likely to see that stage 1 versus stage 2, because giving up the track position a little later in the race is going to be a little bit more difficult. It's the first time Kyle Busch has led today. It's going to be interesting to see if anybody's going to be able to overtake him for the lead. Definitely found the holes the quickest of those on the fresh tires to get to the front. By the time Ben Rhodes was able to get behind him, it was a little too late because he wasn't able to actually clear Zane Smith for second until right off the exit of turn 4. By that point, he was a couple truck lengths already behind Kyle Busch. So there's no chance for him to catch him for the stage win. $34 laps in, 100 to go as of right now. Just over a half hour after the start of the race. And be sure to like, subscribe if you haven't done so already. Currently, we're up to 26 likes on the stream. Gonna put a poll in the chat real quick, see who you guys will pick to win today's race. Let's go Kyle Busch, Zane Smith, Ben Rhodes. Other. Who will Alright, I got the poll up in the chat for you guys. Who you think will win tonight? Waited to the end of stage 1. We've got, in my opinion, what the 3 fastest race trucks are in the poll. Obviously, Zane Smith starting a little deeper in the field for stage 2 after trying to go for the stage win. Didn't work out for him, and he loses the track position as well. Front row in the restart will be Kyle Busch and Grant Enfinger to start stage 2. Row 2 will be Ty Majeski and Tyler Ankrum, and then row 3 will be Raja Karuth and Carson Hocevar. Green flag back in the air. Stage 2 underway at Kansas. Kyle Busch getting a push from behind from Ben Rhodes through the tri-oval. Couple trucks going down below the white line. Hailie Deegan with a massive block on Nick Sanchez, who cut her a bunch of slack there. Sanchez lifts, rolls out of the throttle into turn 1. He's going to lose a few positions after he had a pretty good launch initially. Busch is easily clear for the race lead off turn 2 on Enfinger. Enfinger trying to draft him on the back straightaway, doing everything he can to get up to speed as quickly as possible. Ben Rhodes is in third, right behind Enfinger off the exit of the corner. Busch slaps the wall a little bit off turn 4. Pushed a little bit wide. I do think he touched the wall. Enfinger's got a run on him now into turn 1. I'm not entirely sure if he's going to be able to hold on to it. Enfinger looks to the right rear corner panel of Busch off the exit of the corner. Can't quite get alongside of Kyle that time. Kyle was dealing with a tight race truck back in stage 1 when he was in traffic, and then the first lap that he has full clean air in this race, he hits the wall off turn 4 in the restart to stage 2. Raja Karuth got up to 5th on that restart, battling Carson Hocevar for the position. Carson to the inside of Raja, getting into turns 1 and 2. Slides up the racetrack. Karuth staying in the gas, gets to the outside. The 42 slips almost into the side of the 24. The 52 of Friesen will now pop to the bottom of the backstretch and get by Hocevar for 6th place. Too aggressive of a move that did not pan out for Hocevar. Lost the position out of it. Hailie Deegan making a pass that last lap as well on Crafton. Crafton losing a couple positions to 2 of his teammates. Majeski quickly gets around Deegan for 8th as well. Battle for the lead. Front of the field. Side by side. Enfinger and Busch. Busch on the outside lane. Enfinger's on the bottom through 1 and 2. Not too aggressive with the side draft down the backstretch that time for Enfinger. He pulled up in the last second before diving into turn 3. But he wasn't hanging on that left rear corner panel all the way down the straightaway. Works out for him though. He's going to be able to clear Enfinger. Busch trying the crossover. Big block through the tri-ovals across the start-finish line. Grant Enfinger leads his first lap of the night as he passes Kyle Busch for the lead. Busch to the outside lane. Ben Rhodes also on the top. Maybe a lane off of the top to catch a slight bit of clean air, but that was the same line that Enfinger ran through the corner, so I don't think it really helped Ben Rhodes much. It's a 3-truck battle for the race lead right now with 20 to go, still in stage 2. Zane Smith has already got himself back in the top 10 as he just passed Matt Crafton for 10th place. Crazy how quick he got up through the field. Christian Eckes and Corey Heim just behind him in 12th and 13th as well, who also just pitted. Smith getting by both Hocevar and Deegan this lap as well now to move to 8th. Zane Smith looking sporty. Deegan looking to get by the 42 truck of Carson Hocevar. Maybe a little too low in the center of the corner. I think she got down below that white line a bit. Oh, Hocevar into the back of the 13. There's a big hole in the nose of the 42 truck. It looked like he was trying a crossover move and he ran into the back of the 13 off the exit of the corner. He just mistimed it. Eckes gets sideways in 1 and 2 behind him, trying to squeeze to the inside of Corey Heim, and he almost wiped himself out. Deegan definitely overdrove the corner, but she actually made a good pass. She cleared the 42 cleanly, and Hocevar was just going to try the crossover, and he just mistimed the pullout. It doesn't really look like there's any damage on the 13, but there's definitely a hole in the nose of that 42 truck, which is definitely not going to help it much. In fact, Corey Heim is already just past Hocevar, and he may be going backwards as he's going to be struggling aerodynamically. Heim to the inside of the 13. Deegan down in the middle. Maybe trying to hold a tighter line in the 11 behind. Blasts his way through. Cuts to the apron. That actually might have hurt him a little bit. The truck really bottomed out when he cut down to the apron. There was a lot of sparks, and it looked like the 13 closed in a bit. Heim pulls right back away, though, through turns 1 and 2. In that 9th place position, Matt DiBenedetto has gotten a couple of his spots back. Getting back by the 88 and the 19 in recent laps. He's in 12th. Stuart Friesen passing Tyler Ranker for 6th on track. Friesen started at the rear of the field for tonight's race. Already inside the top 10. Good run for him so far. St. Smith, who started at the rear in this last restart, is already behind both of those trucks. As they continue to stay side by side, Smith is going to close in a lot quicker. He ran the middle lane through turns 1 and 2 there. And the main reason was to catch the clean air, and he was able to definitely have a bit of an advantage as he closes the gap. He gets by Ankrum, now trying to work on Friesen for 6th through 3 and 4. Tyler Ankrum pulls out to a 0.4 of a second lead over Kyle Busch, who is in 2nd place. Ty Majeski's in 3rd, just 0.6 of a second off the lead. Ben Rhodes right behind him in 4th place, is 1 second off the lead. And then Raja Karuth is in 5th place right now, 2 seconds off the lead. Great run for Raja tonight. Ben Rhodes had a massive run off turn 2, dives to the bottom to try to capitalize and get by Busch for 2nd, and he will be clear off the exit of the corner. Kyle Busch not going to be able to get the crossover, and Busch doesn't look quite as strong as he did back in stage 1 after winning the stage. Doesn't look like he's got good long run handling. Maybe still dealing with tight conditions on that race truck, I do believe. I think that tap into the wall's hurting him much. Didn't look like it really did hardly any damage on the right side of his race truck following that restart, but Dean Thompson, Nick Sanchez battling on screen with Matt Craftsman all for 14th place. Sanchez going to get by the 5. Couldn't quite clear the 88, though, in the tri-oval. Sanchez struggling in this race today. Spinner off turn 4. The 0-2 of Chris Wright is in the grass. Caution flag is out with 12 laps to go at stage 2. Our 3rd caution of the night, 2nd for incident. Very similar to about the spot that we saw back in stage 1, so we may see some drivers hit pit road here before the end of the stage to try to regain that track position. I would imagine less drivers are going to stay out trying to win the stage this time because we're going to have probably a couple more laps left than what we did in the last restart. We'll wait and see. Quick recovery for Wright down in the grass. No damage on his race truck as well. Very similar to the spin we saw from lights off turn 2 in the first stage. 50 laps in right now out of 134. And tonight's Heart of America 200 at Kansas. You're watching it live on KRC. We may be seeing pit stops here very, very shortly. Matt Hunter, thanks for tuning in. Yeah, next win for Kyle Busch Motorsports will be number 100 for the organization. DNR Small Engine Repair, thanks for tuning in. It just got loose off turn 4. Right behind the one truck was on the back of the 0-2 again. Second time somebody spun right in front of Tony Breidinger in this one, and luckily they spun down the track and she was able to miss to the outside both times. Ben Rhodes and Ty Majeski both got by Kyle Busch before the caution, so Busch is actually in 4th. Maybe a good timing caution for him so he didn't have to run those last 12 laps under green and potentially lose more spots. If we get the pit stops here, he might have a chance to get some of them back as well. Just shy of the halfway mark yet. Tomorrow's race at the Kansas Speedway for the NASCAR Cup Series, our live commentary will begin at 2:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Be sure to tune in for that one for our flag-to-flag coverage, 2:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time once again tomorrow for our Cup Series live commentary stream. So we'll get our pre-race show started, and then the drop of the green flag will be just after 3 p.m. tomorrow afternoon. I think pit road will be open this time by, and we will see who will pit and who will not pit. Teams are on the wall. It does look like the 23 is maybe going to pit. Pit road is open. And Finger is coming down. Kyle Busch actually got to stay out. Quite a few trucks staying out. Very few are actually pitting inside the top 10. Anchor Deegan are also in, as well as Friesen.
A lot of trucks back
Craftsman's in.
Adam, doing what we just talked about. Flipping it, as we call it. Getting this track position right now, Josh.
Yeah, let's get an update on the 41 of Ross Chastain. Had to start from the rear at the start of the race. He hasn't really been able to gain any ground in this, and he came over the radio and said he's just losing rear grip, so they're making a track bar adjustment to try and help him out. Amanda?
Well, there was a discussion back and forth between Grant Enfinger and his crew chief of if he was going to come in or not. They were discussing stage points between a truck that can win this race elected to stay out. We'll see how this one finishes up.
Well, I think it's going to be some short-term gain. But I think that those guys that stayed out, if this thing goes back to green in a reasonable amount of time, are going to have a pretty distinct advantage after the stage starts.
Yeah, but you know, we're going to split that next stage with it being 70 laps. So there's another strategy call that comes in. So maybe these guys that pitted there will pit earlier in that final stage.
I just think it's funny that we're selling off the top. You can have some strategy in the final stage at Kansas, and here we are to set.
Yeah, so Kyle Busch and Ty Majeski will be the two drivers on the front row for the race start. Ben Rhodes won the race off pit road, but again, those drivers will be back in the field. Pretty split on strategy here at the end of stage 2 on who decided to pit and did not pit. See where everybody will cycle on out of the pits. I believe Ben Rhodes will be 23rd on the restart. So everybody from 23rd on back will have 4 fresh tires. The drivers that pitted, again, includes Ben Rhodes, Grant Enfinger, Tyler Ankrum, Haley Deegan, Matt Crafton, Matt DiBenedetto, Johnny Sauter, Ross Chastain also pitted, Nick Sanchez, Carson Hocevar. So there were quite a few drivers that came onto pit road there. Now it's scoring them at 16, so it looks like maybe only the top 15 had stayed out. More than 7 before, so we'll see if Ben Rhodes will be able to get out in front. Kyle Busch won stage 1. He restarted 7th with 2 laps left in the stage on 20-lap fresher tires and still got the stage win as he was able to pull clear just getting into 3 and 4 on the last lap of the stage. Delbert Wilson, thanks for tuning in. It didn't really look like there was any damage on the 13 truck from what I could see. Yeah, I wouldn't say that she has any damage, really. Carson Hocevar, on the other hand, he does have a hole in the nose. It just kind of poked perfectly. It's kind of weird, though, how it didn't bash the left rear fender in at all, but it did as much damage to Hocevar as it did. I would have expected either none on both trucks or a little bit on both, and there's a little bit on Hocevar's, but really none on Deegan's. And be sure to hit that like button if you haven't done so already. Our goal is 100 likes on the stream. We are at 60 as we speak. Still in stage 2. So we're definitely on pace to getting to 100 tonight. Thanks for everybody tuning in. Well, Saturday night edition of the Truck Series. Big patch on the front of the 42 truck of Carson Hocevar. Trying to flatten the nose out as much as they possibly can. Try to help the airflow over the nose of the race truck. Field is doubled up. They'll restart with 6 laps left in stage 2. This caution definitely did not take as long as the caution back in the last stage. A similar situation. So 6 laps and the top 15 will be on older tires. Kyle Busch, Ty Majeski, row 1, row 2 will be Raja Caruth and Zane Smith for the restart. Green flag will be back in the air. Outside of the top 2, though, a lot of the drivers in the top 10 did stay out on the track. In fact, 6 of the 10 did. Again, Kyle Busch does not take off well on the bottom lane. Got a hit from behind from Caruth, who couldn't really go anywhere. After getting stuck behind Kyle Busch, Caruth loses a few spots. Corey Heim going to try to slide up in front of the 19 and the 4. 3 wide with Caruth, Eckes, and Purdy on the backstretch. Purdy launched the 11 truck with a bump draft. Oh, and the leaders got together. Busch to the inside of Majeski. Majeski threw a block. They may have made contact. Busch got sideways. He'll lose a couple spots to Corey Heim, and now Friesen's under him. Zane Smith to the apron to go 3 wide for 3rd. He'll clear the 52, but he can't keep up with the 51. Majeski trying to hang on at the front of the field. That was the first lap he has led under green today. Heim to the inside for the lead. Majeski side drafts the 11 down the backstretch. Into turns 3 and 4 they go. And Corey Heim is now out in front at Kansas. I believe he's our 6th different leader in the first 56 laps of this race. 9 truck with some pretty significant damage. Right front is down after he has hit the outside wall in turns 3 and 4, but we stay green. Side by side for the lead again. Majeski slide job to the bottom of the track. Slides up and clear, barely. Kyle Busch losing spots on the restart as well. Chase Purdy's going to get around him. There's some damage on the right front of Busch's race truck. I would not be surprised if it was after making contact with Majeski when Majeski threw a late block on him just a couple laps ago. Raja Caruth trying to fend off defending champion Zane Smith for 3rd. Going down to the apron to break the draft. Take a little bit of a shortcut at that as well. As the leaders battle for the lead, it's keeping the battle behind them very tight as well, despite those 2 trucks behind being side by side still. Caruth able to pull clear on Zane Smith again. Smith dives off down to the bottom of the racetrack. Just not able to make the pass on the inside. He can't really hold on by the end of the straightaway on Caruth. Not too aggressive at the side draft that time, but it looks like Zane Smith is going to be able to hold to the inside of the 24. Caruth chases Smith down the track into turns 3 and 4, and Smith looks to be clear. 2 laps to go in stage 2. Majeski's opened up his gap over Heim by a couple truck lengths. Great job by him getting back by Heim. Heim muscled his way through. By the way, Zane Smith just got passed by both the 23 and the 24 in the backstretch as they were bump drafting their way on the outside by Zane Smith. And Edfinger gets to 3rd as he is able to pass Caruth as well. Last lap, stage 2. Ty Majeski out in front. He came in as the points leader today by just over 20 points in the regular season standings. The stage win will go a long way for him. It'll be his first stage win of the season. He only led 4 laps this year up until the start of today's race. And he has already led more than that here just by leading the laps at the end of stage 2 after staying out of the pits. Edfinger gets to 2nd on the 4 fresh tires but can't get to the lead. And again, it will be Ty Majeski winning stage 2 at Kansas. Grant Edfinger 2nd, Corey Heim 3rd, Raja Caruth 4th, and Zane Smith will round out the top 5. Christian Eckes ends up 6th, Tyler Ankerman 7th, Chase Purdy 8th, Stuart Friesen 9th, and Dean Thompson rounds out the top 10 in stage 1. Kyle Busch fell back to 17th place. Looked like he got a little loose and ended up in the outside wall. And then the 99 of Ben Rhodes ran into the back of him. That was on the restart. Busch just ended up losing control of his race truck And it looked like Ben Rhodes had a lot of damage to the front of his truck after getting into the back of Busch. So two of the strongest trucks in the field are now all of a sudden with some significant damage, especially with Rhodes in the 99. And that might drop both of them out of contention of trying to win this race tonight. During the stage break, we'll take another quick break. Appreciate everybody tuning in. Just over 150 people watching. 66 likes on stream thus far. Be sure to hit the like button and be able to vote as well for who you think will win today's race. We will close that. We'll probably close it in about another 10-15 minutes. I'll keep it up for. And then I'll end up closing it. But definitely like and subscribe, and we'll get on with the final stage of tonight's Heart of America 200 at Kansas. Pretty good race going so far. A lot of comers and goers in this one. 7 different drivers have already led a lap in today's race. That's how competitive it's been. I mean, some of it because of pit strategy, but there is a lot of battling at the front of the field. Ben Rhodes has led the most laps today with 17 laps led. 3 different drivers have led 11 laps. Eckes led the first 6. And then Zane Smith led 5 laps and Corey Heim led 1 before losing the lead the following lap to Majeski. So Majeski leading 11 laps today. Again, he only had 4 on the season coming into the race. The number 90 truck of Justin Carroll will get the free pass during the stage break in 32nd. Colby Howard is pulled to the garage after he blew a right front during the green flag run to the end of the stage there. So he'll be done. And we have almost reached halfway. Lap 62 of 134 currently. Final stage will be 74 laps. This will not be the final pit stop of the day for those pitting. Yeah, my pick for tonight, Kyle Busch, not looking too good. He was definitely starting to get a little tight on the long runs, I noticed. But he's got a little damage on the right front that might make him even more tighter as he's in the pits.
Good comeback. 4th on the board with 11.
Even more damage on Ben Rhodes' 99.
Telling Ben Rhodes
Bomarito
was
Ford.
that they're going to take their time and fix this thing. Ben said it didn't look fixable from where he was setting, but looks like they've done a pretty nice job of tidying it up. What do you think, Kevin?
Well, they're going to have to come back in and seal the side of that hood up in order to make it right. But they got the front of the hood with some bare bond on there. But, I think that, Kyle just got loose right there, and he had nowhere to go and just wound up in the back of Kyle's truck and tore it up. So Kyle was struggling on the restart, and he got tight and had to lift and then got loose and checked up hard, and Ben just had nowhere to go and got in the back of him.
Yeah, Kyle gets into the wall, and that was more than Ben could stop for.
Hey, the good news for Ben Rhodes, he had 9 stage points, so that helps when you have an evening where you deal with damage and maybe don't get the finish you would like. And there are a lot of drivers that would have wrecked out driving that 51 in that situation. Kyle's able to hang on and persevere through difficult times.
I think it's interesting, too, how well they got that truck of Rhodes pinned together. It looks pretty decent. We'll see if they come back in and fine-tune it even more so.
Way better than I thought it would be after watching what happened over there.
Now you just got to make sure all the tape you put on there stays.
Yeah, they got the left side taped down pretty good. Not the hood.
A little bit flapping over there on that right. That'll only get worse, obviously.
Yeah, and you saw him spraying some brake cleaner on there. You want that to adhere to the nose fascia and the hood as well as possible. You can see it didn't really do that on the front of the hood. It blew up. So they're definitely going to want to reattach that so the air doesn't get underneath the hood where it's been up.
Rest of the field now coming onto pit road again. Of those that did not pit before the end of stage 2.
A number of trucks making their scheduled pit stop into stage 2, Josh.
Well, after some miscommunication early in the race, the 98 team has bounced back nicely with a Stage 2 win. Not too many issues with that truck right now. Tom Majeski saying he's pretty happy. They're just going to make a slight track bar adjustment to tighten them up just a little bit. How about the 52 of Stuart Friesen with that crew chief change to a crew chief by committee tonight? Well, he said he's just tight everywhere right now, Amanda.
Well, we're watching the 11 in their pit stop right now. They're going to want redemption from that last stop in. Corey Heim was saying that following the 98, that they've been the best they've been all night, but the truck's too tight. There will be track bar adjustments coming for that team. And then for Raja Caruth, they last pitted on the 24th lap. They tightened the truck up, but Raja now asking for to free it back up, that it was a little too stiffer in that last stage.
Yeah, it's been a good night for Caruth. We'll see what he does now that he's trapped back in.
Alrighty, so they're going to a commercial break. I'll actually get a rundown of the full field running order during this Stage 2 caution break once the field gets reorganized here on our leaderboard. Grant Enfinger will be the leader, though, in the upcoming restart. That I can confirm. So, again, Kyle Busch on that last restart got really loose when he was 3 wide in the middle of turns 1 and 2, walked up the racetrack, got into the wall, and then Ben Rhodes ran into the back of him. It was under green flag conditions still. Both trucks pitting a little early, while pit road was still closed. That way they could try to repair some damage. They'll definitely both be at the tail end of the field for this restart, and with the damage, the chances of winning are probably over for those two drivers today. Nine men, one female in the lottery pool. She's won the past 2 weeks. What, for the cup races or for the truck races? That is pretty crazy, though, to have 10 people in a pool like that and the same person wins 2 weeks in a row. Is it like a random draw, or do you get to pick your driver? I'd imagine... Oh, it's a lottery, so I would imagine it's a random pick. To see what the most viewed truck race of the season is. I think it's Daytona still. Yeah, Daytona. Start of the year. No shocker. Let's see, 235. I think the second most watched was the Dirt Bristol race. Yep. So 313 is the number that we need to beat tonight for concurrent viewers to top our most viewed truck race of the season. We had over 150 at one point there at the end of Stage 2. We'll see where that will go. Still have half the race left today. Couple cautions in this one. 4 of them to be exact. 2 stage breaks and 2 single truck spins in the stage. No major damage on those trucks. The damage we have seen on some trucks today have come from green flag racing. Carson Hocevar's got a decent bit of damage on the front of his truck. So does Ben Rhodes, and then Kyle Busch got loose and got up into the wall. He's actually gotten into the wall a couple times, but a lot more significantly on that last restart. On the upcoming restart, front row will be Grant Enfinger and Dean Thompson. And then Tyler Ankrum and Ross Chastain in row 2. First time we've seen Chastain up in the top 5 today. Matt DiBenedetto and Jake Garcia in row 3. Row 4 will be Nick Sanchez and Matt Crafton. So we'll have 67 laps to go when we go green, and we'll be exactly halfway in this race. Buckle up, we're time for the final stage of the Heart of America 200 at the Kansas Speedway tonight. Pace truck is pulling onto pit road, making the big left-hand turn. Enfinger will be the control truck on the bottom. We've seen a mix of trucks picking the bottom and the top for the restart when they bend the control vehicle. Enfinger on the bottom this time. Seems like the outside has been the way to go, but Enfinger takes off well on the bottom. Green flag back in the air. Jake Garcia spun his tires a ton there on the outside of row 4. Stacked up a lot of trucks. Haley Deegan going up the middle 3 wide between Ross Chastain and Raja Carruth. They're 4 wide now in the middle of 1 and 2. Christian Eckes riding the outside lane. Carruth going up to slide up in front of the 19. Deegan aggressively side drafting Eckes, trying to stay with him, and Hocevar underneath her. Matt DiBenedetto to second off of turn 4 as he got to the inside of the 16, cleared him. Ankrum struggling with the rear grip of his race truck off turn 4, chases it up the hill. Raja Carruth will get by him for 4th. Big block by Raja through the tri-oval. Still 3 wide, further back in the pack. Hocevar, Eckes, and Chastain. An East Motorsports sandwich. And the 19 of Eckes is the mate. Carruth going after the race. Going after 3rd, I should say, of Ty Majeski. And he is going to clear him off of turn 4. He's going to make sure he clears. He does. Almost got ran into the back of. Maybe did just a little bit. Big block by Carruth. Almost stuffed the 98 into the wall. Battling for 3rd like his life depends on it. Raja Carruth, best run of the season for that 24 team. Still putting the battle of Majeski on the backstretch as they go back at 4th. And now Majeski with a big block. Majeski's thrown some pretty aggressive blocks in this race as well. Dean Thompson to the outside of the 16. Not a lot of room. Just kept it off the wall. And just get to the outside of Tyler Ankrum. He is going to be able to clear him as he gets alongside Eckes now into 1 and 2. 3 wide all over the racetrack. Zane Smith getting by Chase Purdy. Battles Stuart Friesen right now. They're all 3 of those trucks outside the top 10. Despite all of them running in the top 10 for most of the night. They had pitted during that stage break, lost a little bit of track position. Dean Thompson had a very, very fast truck at Texas before getting into a scary accident late in that race. Ran in the top 5 the whole day, and I think he was right around 3rd at one point in the final stage as well. He's had a great day today. Restart on the front row for this restart. He's had speed. He's in the top 10. That's even after qualifying fairly deep in the field, so good run for Dean Thompson. Raja Carruth puts... Oh, no! He put himself in the wall! He blocked Ty Majeski, both trucks into the outside wall in the tri-oval. And the battle for 3rd is no longer. Hard impact for Carruth. Both drivers were blocking the heck out of each other whenever one of them would get in front. And I was wondering if something like that was going to happen, and it did. I think Majeski seemed upset after the spin. Carruth hopping out of his race truck. His day is done. Majeski is taken out of a good finish of this race as well. Significant damage around the left front, obviously getting into the wall as well, so the right side's probably pancaked. It looked like a bad block in the tri-oval. Both trucks were blocking really for a good 4 or 5 laps in a row. They were just racing hard for 3rd place. They were losing touch of the top 2, but they were still keeping a decent distance on the 4th and 5th place trucks behind them with the battle. But a block gone wrong there for Raja Carruth. Was having the best run of his young truck career tonight. Had great speed. Finished top 5 at the end of stage 2. Battle for 3rd. That's a tough break and a mistake that the rookie will have to own up to. Showing a replay. I mean, they could have showed the replay from before as well. Carruth carried a lot of speed getting into 3 and 4. He cleared the 98. And yeah, it was just a bad block. He went to the top. He went to the bottom to cover the bottom, and then Majeski went to the outside, and the second block was what turned him into the outside wall. Everybody else evades down to the apron before Carruth came sliding down the track, and everybody else went to the top to miss. A lot of damage on the 24. The whole right front tire is lifted up off the ground. Travis Kincaid, thanks for tuning in. Carson Hocevar is back in the top 5 after having damage to the front of his race truck earlier in this race. That was on the start of stage 2, that restart that happened there where he got into the back of the 13, mistiming a crossover move off of turn 4 where he kind of pulled out of line a little late. Put a hole in the nose of his race truck, and he has recovered. And is all of a sudden in contention with the field being bunched back up with this next restart upcoming. It's huge as well. Still just outside the pit window to make it on field to the end of the race, so I think everybody will stay out here. We're down to about 60 to go. Grant Enfinger and Matt DiBenedetto are the leaders. Full field running order right now. Enfinger leads. Matt DiBenedetto's in second. Nick Sanchez is third. Christian Eck is fourth. Carson Hocevar is fifth. Dean Thompson 6th. Corey Heim 7th. Ty Majeski 8th. Tyler Ankrum 9th. And Stuart Friesen is 10th. Chase Purdy is 11th. I should say Chase Purdy now in 10th. Ross Chastain's 11th. Zink Smith in 12th. Taylor Gray in 13th. Jake Garcia 14th. Daniel Dye 15th. Haley Deegan 16th. Ty Majeski 17th. Tanner Gray 18th. Matt Crafton 19th. Brett Holmes 20th. Kyle Busch 21st. Lawless Allen 22nd. Tyler Hill 23rd. Johnny Sauter 24th. Brendan Poole 25th. Ben Rhodes 26th. Tony Breidinger 27th. Chris Wright 28th. Justin Carroll 29th. And 30th is Josh Rayoum. Ty Majeski in 31st. Ben Rhodes is now 32nd after just pinning. Nick Lights 2 laps down at 33rd. Raja Carruth will be out of the race 34th. Colby Howard 35th and Tim Veens 36th.
There and give him some fuel and send him on his way, guys.
Yeah, so he ups himself on fuel but doesn't take on any tires. So they save that set there. And should another caution come out later on, they would likely come down and get that last set of stickers. 5th caution of the night comes out when Carruth gets together with Majeski. The restart when we return to Kansas on it.
Mark Barnum, thanks for tuning into the stream as well. Kenny Walls doing race highlights of the Gateway race from last year. So it's an ad for the upcoming Gateway race. If you've never been, I highly recommend going. It was a lot of fun last year. Hopefully they have another sellout crowd like they did last season. That was definitely a fun race to be at last year, honestly. I'll be giving that race to you guys for the call. Thanks for doing it live at the airport. Your flight's delayed. Oh, man. That's tough. Well, maybe you get to see the end of the truck race at least. On the bright side of it. Get to see it live. Just under 150 people watching right now. Appreciate everybody tuning in. Hit the like button if you haven't done so already. Our goal is 100 likes on the stream. And then also subscribe for more daily NASCAR content as well. We're at 72 likes on the stream, so we're just 28 away from our goal tonight. So there's some drivers that topped off on fuel on pit road there, but can't make it to the end. Most of them did not take tires as well, as they only have one set left the rest of this race. Now it would be a little too early to try to take it. topping off on fuel here for the likes of Matt Craftsman. It'll be interesting to see what ends up happening here. Because he's going to be able to go quite a ways on fuel. I don't think he can make it to the end, but he can be able to push it just shy of that if we do go green to the finish. I'd have to imagine with it being the truck series, though, that will more than likely not happen, but you never know. One to go signal. Through the choose rule, Grant Enfinger will be on the front row on the inside once again. As the control truck for the restart, Nick Sanchez will be to his outside. The row 2 will be Matt DiBenedetto and Carson Hocevar. DiBenedetto was the last driver above the cutoff line for the Truck Series playoff field coming into this race today. Having a good finish could go a long way for him, and a win would lock him into the playoffs, which would be also obviously huge for that 25 team. The Rackley Racing Team did get a win last season at Talladega in the playoffs, but DiBenedetto did not qualify for the playoffs before that. Still got that team their first win as an organization. And now this year they're trying to make their first playoff appearance as an organization in the NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series. Fuel range 55 laps. Yep, and we'll be going green with 56 laps to go. Crazy race so far. A lot of bold moves being made. 1-2 bull, which caused the last accident. Hopefully we don't see that again. And Finger leads them into the Geico restart zone. Green flag back in the air at Kansas. Nice push from Matt DiBenedetto from behind. Sanchez on the outside did not take off quite as well with Hocevar behind him. Hocevar throwing a block on Dean Thompson. Oh, big wreck! Going into the first turn. DiBenedetto got hooked by the 19 of Christian Eckes. Came right up in front of Dean Thompson and Carson Hocevar, who also get collected. Major damage on the 42 and the 5. Major points implications here for DiBenedetto. Remember, there are only 8 races left in the Truck Series regular season after today, so DiBenedetto, who was barely in on points coming into the race, and one of the drivers he was barely in on was Chase Purdy. Purdy also collected. He'll be done. DiBenedetto's going to be done. He's smoking, trying to get his way back to pit road. Not sure how that happened, but it looked like he was getting hooked even before they got into turn 1. Up the track they went, and there were a lot of drivers that were just innocent bystanders in that. I was watching Hocevar and Thompson going 3 wide on the top, and they were wrecking underneath them before they came up the track into the 5 and the 42. Maybe another bad block by DiBenedetto. Maybe he got hooked. We'll have to wait and see. Right after I said, I hope I don't see that again, and don't even get like 10 seconds later, and we see it again. Dean Thompson frustrated. It's 2 great races on mile and a half for that 5 team that Dean Thompson has had, and he has gotten wrecked out with nothing of his own doing both times. Got a feel for him. Small team having some great speed on these intermediate tracks this season for the Truck Series. Hopefully that will continue on through the next few races, which are also intermediate tracks for the Truck Series. So DiBenedetto went to the bottom to block the 19. Yeah, he just turned himself. I mean, it was just a bad block by DiBenedetto. He went down to block the 19. He swiped across his front bumper. He went low and then went back to the top. Very similar to the end of the Texas race when Nick Sanchez had blocked who was it? Yeah, it was Hocevar, where he came down the track to try to block, and then he ended up kind of hooking himself off the left and then went back across the track. That was exactly what happened here. Obviously, they weren't up to speed yet, so it wasn't as hard of an impact, but it was hard enough to cause quite a bit of damage to the trucks that had gotten sandwiched in that. And Chase Purdy just didn't even see the 19 of Christian Eckes because he looked like he gassed it up thinking he missed everything and didn't even see the 19 and ran right into the door of him. The 19 already had a lot of damage. He was probably done, but Purdy had a miss. Busch just waited for everybody to clear down to the bottom before going to the top to miss at the back of the pack. So 5 trucks taken out in this accident on a restart. Drivers involved in the wreck: Matt DiBenedetto, Carson Hocevar, Christian Eckes, Dean Thompson, and Chase Purdy. All with significant damage that will more than likely take them out. That was a hard hit that Purdy gave the 19 as well, right at the end. I mean, he was... Yeah, Purdy was down on the apron as the wreck was happening above him. And he was backing it down quite a bit, and then he gassed it up right as the 19 was there. But the 19 was already there. He just didn't see him. That's a combination of a bad call by his spotter, not seeing the 19 right there on the apron in front of him, and also, obviously, Purdy for just not seeing him himself right out of the windshield. Wow. Launched nearly all 4 tires of Eckes' truck up off the racetrack after Purdy had nailed him in the driver's side door. Vicious impact. Eckes is out of his race truck, thankfully, under his own power. Same goes for Chase Purdy. Lap 79 is where this incident took place. Here's Roger Carruth with Amanda Busick.
This weekend, I know how heavy these are for you. You told me what you may lack in experience in this field, you more than make up for in passion and work ethic. We're going to take a look at the replay. Can you assign fault on this one?
Yeah, I mean, it was really close, and we had a long ways to go. Our Wendell Scott Foundation Silverado was really good, and this is my first look at it. I was trying to cover the top here, and he just kind of hooked me there. So good to know. I mean, I didn't double move or anything. I picked the top there, and he just hooked me. So that really stinks. Our Wendell Scott Foundation Silverado was really sporty tonight, and we're going to be in a really good spot there. One of the first few guys on tires to go and make Grant and Matt look like they were sitting still. But we had a very fast truck tonight, and sucks not to get a result for Butler Built Seats, Bell Racing, A-Stars, Competition Cleaning, and Shady Rays. But we'll go get into Darlington.
See you there.
Yep.
He can take away a lot of speed from tonight and know he learned a lesson. But, sometimes you learn a lesson, Kevin, and you don't tear up your truck. This was an expensive lesson, but he can leave here knowing he had the pace to win this race.
Well, and I go down and I said, well, who's the spotter? And I see Chris Lambert, and I see Chad Walter as the crew chief, and I see a lot of good people around him, and I think they'll go back and look at that and help him understand what he could have done better right there, because I think sometimes there's a survival piece that comes with this to be able to put yourself in a position to keep your truck rolling, and I think there was probably a little bit of give right there that last move was just a little bit late.
Well, he said he didn't double move, but he was really sure to make sure he covered the inside, and then when he saw he had that covered, then he went up, and it was just too late.
I agree.
Roger Carruth involved in an incident that brought out our...
Heading to a commercial break here during the caution flag period on FS1. Running of this NASCAR Craftsman truck race at Kansas tonight. It's going to leave about 27 trucks on the lead lap still. And I'm pretty sure everybody who was involved in that accident is out. DiBenedetto's the only one that could potentially still be in the race of that 5-truck accident. But he's already a couple of laps down with significant damage, too. And he restarted in 3rd place. He was actually the one that started the accident, as he threw a bad block going into turn 1 on the 19 of Eckes down to the apron. Both trucks were already on the apron. DiBenedetto just moved down a little too far and had turned himself. So the last 2 accidents have been caused by bad blocks. You would think we're talking about a super speedway race, but we're talking about a mile and a half at Kansas. I can kind of expect a rookie like Raja Karut to maybe make a mistake like that. Honestly, Matt DiBenedetto making that mistake, I just feel like he's got too much experience to do something like that. Some of it is landing on the spotter and really the communication between driver and spotter and vice versa, because, I mean, maybe the spotter called him clear to move to the bottom and he wasn't clear, which caused DiBenedetto to make the move, but definitely could have been avoided. Both accidents really could have easily been avoided. So we are under the yellow flag. 50 laps to go at Kansas. Haven't really had any green flag racing for the most part in Stage 3. A few laps at the start of the stage, and that was it. A couple of early cautions. And we are down to 6 cautions total in today's race now. Average race speed only at 90.42 miles per hour. Very slow for a mile and a half. One to go signal this time by, so we'll have 49 laps left on the restart. Front row will be Grant Enfinger and Nick Sanchez. Enfinger will be the control truck once again. Big Dog, thanks for tuning in.
They're trying.
Nobody hit pit road during that caution flag as well, at least at the front of the field. Maybe there were some that topped off at the back of the pack. Don't think these drivers will be able to make it to the end that stayed out. If they did end up hitting pit road, then maybe they do have a chance to make it to the end. Surprised more trucks didn't pit, to be completely honest. Jeff Curry, thanks for tuning in also. There is no other drivers in the field that are running tomorrow as well. I don't think Poole's running this week for Rickway Racing. I could be wrong on that. And if I am, then he would be the other one that is in the race today that is also racing tomorrow. Green flag is back in the air. A near block by Tyler Ankrum down on the Nice Motorsport truck of Ross Chastain, who was on the apron to go 3 wide into the first turn. Well, they made it that far without a wreck this time. Grant Enfinger and Nick Sanchez are side by side for the lead on the backstretch. Sanchez with a big run. Enfinger trying to pull out a line on the 52, who goes halfway to the apron before entering turn 3 to pass both Enfinger and Heim. What a move by Stuart Friesen, and now he pulls alongside the race leader Nick Sanchez as well. Corey Heim's got a big run on the bottom. Nowhere to go as he's boxed in behind the 52 and the 2. He chooses to go to the bottom behind Friesen. Diving it off into the corner. Stuart Friesen leads for the first time in the race. Corey Heim clear for second on Nick Sanchez. Zane Smith, Grant Enfinger are right there. Heim got a big push on the backstretch before diving to the bottom in 3 and 4. He's going to take the lead away from Friesen. Corey Heim on in front looking for his second truck win of the season. His first at Martinsville. Range shortened. Trying not to get a shortened victory today. And trying to capture the checkered flag under green flag conditions. It's the second different time Heim has led today. He led late in Stage 2 for a lap before surrendering the lead to Majeski at the time, as they were battling for the Stage 2 win. Nick Sanchez trying to hold off the 38 of Zane Smith. Smith to the bottom of the racetrack. Going to make the pass and also pulls alongside Friesen for second. Great run for Zane Smith through 3 and 4 that time. Taylor Gray out of nowhere up to 6th place. And Daniel Dye up inside the top 10 as well as he's battling Chastain for 7th. Smith is not going to be able to make the pass on Friesen again. Through turns 1 and 2, and Nick Sanchez has a big run behind the 38. He does not dive to the bottom, though. Wanted to go to the top, maybe should have went to the bottom because Zane Smith covered the outside. Sanchez had to check up instead, and now Smith's got another run at Friesen on the front stretch. Cuts to the bottom of the track. Side drafts before pulling to the apron. And now clear high going into turn 1. Zane Smith to second and trying to run down Corey Heim. It's 2 drivers with at least 1 win this season, now running first and second. It could be battling for the win in this race after a lot of good trucks ahead of them have had issues. ThorSport trucks have Ben Rhodes, Ty Majeski have significant damage. Obviously, Raja Karuth out of the race now. Matt DiBenedetto, who is quick, is out of the race. Kyle Busch got in the wall at the end of stage 2. Haley Deegan getting by Tyler Rankin for 9th on the racetrack. Jake Garcia and Kyle Busch just closely behind. Anchor covering the top. Busch doesn't really have anywhere to go. He's going to try to get to the outside of the 16, and then he had to back out of the gas at the last second. 16 didn't give him any room there. He did have a truck underneath him. Busch dives to the bottom after clearing Garcia. A little slide job to get by Anchor, so Busch with a nice recovery to get to 10th. And here's Christian Eckes outside the infield care center.
Side of the truck, but Christian, as you replay what happened on that restart, how are you processing it?
Yeah, I mean, just aggression, I guess. He blocked a little late, got loose, and I tried to go to high, and I might have caught his rear quarter panel or something, but yeah, it sucks. We were a little bit off during the race. I thought we were really good all day, then just kind of lacked balance, and then, yeah, that's a bummer for sure. I felt like we would have had a shot at there, but oh well.
See you in Darlington.
The 0-2 truck of Chris Wright has just crashed in turns 1 and 2 as he impacts the outside wall head on, slid down the track, barely got missed by a couple of race trucks, and we're under caution once again here in stage 3 and for the 7th time total in the race. Now we'll be seeing some pit stops during this caution, and then everybody will be able to make it on field to the end from here. So the final pit stop of the night should be coming up during this caution break. Window net is down on Chris Wright's race truck. Second time he has caused the caution today, but this time that truck will not be able to continue. Kyle will be leading within 12 laps. We'll see.
Dye has raced his way so far toward the front. We didn't get a video of that crash. There's our race to stop suicide on board with the young man out of DeLand, Florida. Having a big night tonight. Adam running inside the top 10. Great practice today.
Only 19 years old. And what I like about what he's done, and this goes back to something Kevin had talked about earlier, is not everything's gone his way. And he stayed in the game, and now he finds himself in a good position late as we go back and look at what happened to Chris Wright.
Hooked up into the outside wall, and this is when it got scary. Anytime you're sliding down the racetrack with your driver's side toward the oncoming traffic, it's just really scary.
Yeah, that wreck started and
watch.
Oh my goodness, that was so close. That wreck started getting loose in the corner, and then he overcorrected. Loose, and then he overcorrected when the speed got down, and it goes exactly where the tires are pointed, and that's to the right in the fence. But watch how close this is.
Josh Ray.
Oh my gosh.
Just slipping by on the bottom.
Well, green light is on, Michael. Pit road going to be open.
We've talked about strategy all night. I think. Do you agree, Kevin?
I think they're all going to pit.
Let's all come get our tires.
I think so.
We'll make it an even match to the checker.
Well, if you don't pit here, you're going to go backwards in a hurry on a restart, right?
Yeah, we got 26 trucks on the lead lap, too, so you're going to...
So they will all be coming into the pits this time by. Fuel window easily open to the end. And the final set of tires going on all these race trucks as well. Corey Heim will lead them into the pit lane.
Ross Chastain, he's had to battle all night just to get into the top 10. Came over the radio and said, I'm still just too tight everywhere. Let's move to the 52 of Stuart Friesen. They were tight early in the race. They made some adjustments. He said they got that truck where they needed to be. He doesn't want any adjustments, just tires and fuel for him. Amanda?
As you'll see, Corey Heim making his way onto the pit road as well. Pretty impressive how this team has rebounded. The crew chief and the team have just been talking through getting this truck back onto the track with just consistency that they're looking for and potential back-to-back win. And then on the 38 of Zane Smith, not much hearing from Zane Smith. The truck battled with grip earlier in the race, but they figured that out as we've gotten settled here to this last stage.
And Zane Smith able to win the race off pit road, gets out in front of Corey Heim. Nick Sanchez, great effort by his group, +2, and Ross Chastain, +4 as he continues to chip away at it here tonight. Going to get a restart inside of 40 laps remaining for the trucks at Kansas when we come back.
It's 40 laps to go in tonight's race. We'll run through the full field running order real quick here coming up to this next restart. Actually, I'll wait another lap because just realized our running order is not accurate right now. So we'll wait another lap before we take a quick look at the full field running order once again. Derek Booth, thanks for tuning into the stream. Zane Smith did win the race off pit road. Very close battle off of pit road between both him and Grant Enfinger. I think that was a different joint that DW would say. Not just talking Bristol versus Kansas either. Still waiting for that field to cross the start-finish line again. I mean, maybe there were some drivers that stayed out of the pits. I mean, maybe Tanner Gray had pitted before that and they think they can make it on field to the end. So he stayed out. I mean, that's the only other thing I can think of. We'll maybe hold off on going through the full field running order here quite this second. We'll wait till a little bit after the restart. Just because I'm not sure if that's accurate or not yet. We'll take our final break of the race then right now as well, so we can run this out to the finish afterwards. Appreciate everybody tuning in tonight. We're just 18 likes away from our goal of 100 on the stream, so hit the like button if you haven't done so already and subscribe for more daily NASCAR content as you're listening live to the Heart of America 200 at the Kansas Speedway for the NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series. Well, in the poll, 50% say Kyle Busch is going to win tonight. 109 votes were casted. 19% say Zane Smith. 3% for Ben Rhodes, and other at 28%. Of course, that was before, a lot of those votes were before any of those drivers had damage. Zane Smith does not have damage in third. Maybe has the best shot to win of any of those drivers. Other with the second most obviously stated, 28%. It'll be interesting if that will hold on. And by the way, Grant Enfinger lost a few spots on pit road. It was Corey Heim that Zane Smith barely beat out of the pits. And Nick Sanchez and Ross Chastain behind them. Out of the pits as well. So there were two drivers that had stayed out of the pits during the caution. Tanner Gray and Tyler Hill. That will be on the front row for the restart. Tyler Hill last pitted 33 laps ago, so he will not be able to make it upfield to the end of the race. Not sure exactly why they stayed out. Then Tanner Gray in the 15 pitted during the caution before this last one, so he will be able to make it on field to the end with running enough caution laps more than likely. So that was the strategy call for Gray staying out. And we will see if it'll work for him. I believe they'll be getting the 1 to go signal this time by Gary Williams. Thanks for tuning in. So both the drivers on older tires for the restart will be on the bottom. Zane Smith, Corey Heim, Nick Sanchez on the top. Ross Chastain will be the first truck on the bottom lane, though, behind Hill and Gray. This will be interesting. That is going to probably stack up the inside quite a bit. If Gray doesn't, I feel like Tyler Hill most definitely will. And I can bet Chastain's thinking of going 3 wide to the bottom. Now, you have to wait until you cross the start-finish line before you duck out of line to go 3 wide down to the inside below the white line on the apron. You cannot dive down before you get to the start-finish line. You have to have all 4 tires above the white line when you get to the stripe. Cannot lane change before then. Berlio Piera, thanks for tuning in. Pereira, excuse me. I think I said your last name correctly the second time. John Ripley, welcome to the stream as well. Hope a traffic jam does start. Yeah, I know. I'm thinking, I have a bad feeling Tyler Hill's. I think Tanner Gray's okay. Because he's got fairly equal tires, only ran a couple laps on him. It's like the 15's actually got quite a bit of damage to the nose of his race truck as well. So that's not going to help once they get up to speed. Pretty flat. A lot of bear bond on the front of the truck as well. Green flag back in the air. As expected, the 56 didn't take off too well. He is getting pushed, though, on the bottom. Chastain got into him. Big save by Tyler Hill going into the first turn, and he's off the pace, it looks like, letting the field roll around. Tanner Gray in the 15 going backwards as he's 3 wide middle. Losing a ton of position. Zane Smith ends up with the lead, and down into 3 and 4. Corey Heim is going to dive underneath him, scraping the left side of his race truck down below the white line just a bit as he bottomed out with the splitter of that race truck and still completes the pass cleanly without overdriving it. Corey Heim to the lead with 35 laps to go. And again, he's scraping the left front splitter of that race truck down underneath the white line. He is on top of it. He's not just above it. He is on top of that white line in the middle of the corner. He's finding grip with it, though. Nick Sanchez, Ross Chastain, side by side for 4th. Sanchez is going to clear. Big chance for Sanchez to capitalize on a good points day with the other 2 drivers around him in points getting taken out in the last accident, those being Chase Purdy and Matt DiBenedetto. They're not only running ahead of Sanchez at the time of the accident, but they were also ahead of him in points. He was the 2nd driver below the cutoff line coming in. He's got a chance to now boost himself into the top 10 in points. Chastain and Friesen now door to door on the front stretch for 5th. Chastain not able to hold on these long runs. Kyle Busch, meanwhile, up to 8th place on this last restart. Recovering after hitting the wall earlier. He is in the top 10 as well. Down to 33 laps to go. So following the restart, Corey Heim leads the race 0.2 of a second ahead of Zane Smith. Grant Enfinger is in 3rd. Nick Sanchez 4th. Ross Chastain is in 5th. Make that Stuart Friesen now in 5th. Ross Chastain is 6th. Taylor Gray in 7th. Kyle Busch 8th. Matt Craft in 9th. And Tyler Ankrum is in 10th. Jake Garcia in 11th. Haley Deegan 12th. Ben Rhodes 13th. Ty Majeski 14th. Lawless Allen 15th. Pass for the lead. Meanwhile, at the front of the field, 3 wide to the bottom goes Grant Enfinger. Zane Smith almost got into the 11 of Corey Heim. They slowed each other up. Enfinger went 3 wide to the inside. Gets by them both. Smith can't complete the pass on Heim through 3 and 4. Heim going right back after Grant Enfinger now. We'll hold off on that running order because we've got a battle for the lead intensifying once again. Heim to the inside through 1 and 2. Enfinger holds on a little bit longer. And can he hold on to the end of the race is the next question. So Grant Enfinger now in the lead with 30 laps to go at Kansas after a 3-wide pass off the exit of turn 2. After both Zane Smith and Corey Heim were door-to-door, they slowed each other up enough. And Enfinger went all the way to the white line to make the pass. He was clear before getting into 3 and held on to it on the other side. So outside of the top 15, Wallace Allen is in 16th place, Brett Holmes 17th, Johnny Sutter 18th, Tony Breidinger 19th, and Tanner Gray has now fallen back to 20th. Brendan Poole in 21st, Nick Lights 22nd, Justin Carroll 23rd, Tyler Hill 24th, Josh Reum 25th, Mason Maggio 26th, Spencer Boyd's the last truck in the lead lap at 27th. And then everybody from 28th on back out of the race tonight. Chris Wright 28th place finish. Matt DiBenedetto 29th, Christian Eck is 30th, 31st, Carson Hocevar, Dean Thompson in 32nd, 33rd, Chase Purdy, Roger Carruth 34th, Colby Howard 35th, and Tim Vaines will round out the 36 truck field. 28 laps to go. Stuart Friesen, Nick Sanchez going back and forth in a battle for position. Friesen got up into the wall after getting loose a couple laps ago, lost the spot to Sanchez. He's going to regain it now for 4th. And Kyle Busch battles Taylor Gray right now for 7th place.
Has been monitoring the radios of some that we don't want to hear on air, so stay clear of Kyle Busch's radio. But essentially, he's saying that this truck is plowing into the track and told his team, you might as well just throw this whole truck away.
I know how Kyle feels when you get in these trucks and you build them and you build a team and you build everything around it. You have one expectation, and we know Kyle Busch has one expectation when he gets in that truck, and that's to win. And they just missed it, and they had some things get torn up, and it's just not been their night. And we've heard him talk about being too tight all night long.
He's fighting through it, but he showed up to win tonight, and unfortunately, not where he needs to be.
Excuse me.
Done.
Tonight's win would have been special, wouldn't it?
Oh yeah, getting 100.
And you know he wants that one.
Yeah,
he wants that one under his name, beside his name.
We were talking earlier today about all the different drivers that have won for Kyle Busch Motorsports over the years. It's a true who's who, and of course Kyle leading the way.
There's that 51 truck. Currently in the 8th spot.
Slow one soon. You're good this corner.
Trying to take down that 17 truck.
But you just see the front of the truck take off, and that's been his problem all night. He can get in the corner and get beside him, but the truck gets so tight as he comes up off the corner that he has to lift, and then they come back beside him. So he needs to get in the corner and slide up.
Which he did.
Yep.
Hey, you sound like you're driving that truck.
Kevin, coaching Kyle from the broadcast booth. I like it. Hey, right behind them, let's show some respect to Jake Garcia, who's in the top 10 once again.
And here's Haley Deegan racing first spot, just behind Jake. Tyler Ankram's in that mix as well. Jake's doing a nice job again. Kevin, when he turned 18 on his 18th birthday, he raced Las Vegas. We were talking to him down in the garage before that race, and I said, what do you think? He said, well, I'm kind of scared. I said, good. That means you're pretty smart. You ought to be scared. Going out here at 180 miles an hour and racing these guys. Came home with a 10th place finish in that race at Vegas. What a great job.
Yeah, and I've watched Jake race a few late model races, and he does a great job. And here we go, 3 wide.
Is there going to be another caution? We've had 7, and racing like this would tell me yes, there will be.
Wow. Ankrum got that 10th spot away from Crafton. Looked like Haley had dibs on it down on the bottom, but she just couldn't keep her truck down. We've seen that all night with different trucks.
Going around the lap vehicle of Mason Maggio.
15 back from you, 10 back from that.
Goes Craftsman back to the bottom.
That bottom is so tempting.
But it just doesn't work very often, does it?
No, it's so tempting to go down there and then you get about halfway through the corner and like, oh man, now I'm going to be 2 trucks behind, and it just kills all your momentum. So it's really the middle and the top that are the best places to go, unless you can run the bottom and slide right up.
These two aren't done yet.
.32 is Brett Holmes. He's 16th. Wallace Allen, 17th right now in the 45.
And right behind them, Tony Breidinger, she's 18th. Doing a nice job.
Real good, her debut.
Yeah. Jake Garcia wanting more.
Craftsman 20 to go at Kansas for the Truck Series, where Grant Enfinger is leading. Made a nice pass given by Corey Heim and Zane Smith. Hasn't exactly pulled away. In fact, his advantage was less than a second probably for 8-10 laps, but right now it's getting up over a second. He's starting to stretch it just a bit over Corey Heim.
Every lap by Adam, he's just about a 10th better. That's all. But you know, Kevin, as a driver, you try every which way you can to figure out how to erase that 10th of lap deficit, trying different lines, the way you're rolling out of the gas, but that gap just keeps getting bigger. That's frustrating.
Well, in the trucks, you know, you're so close to wide open and you're not lifting much, and when you get in a rhythm and in the groove that you want, like Grant is, and we feel like he has the best truck all night, and well, not all night, but has had one of the best trucks all night. It's hard to make that ground up. Corey Heim seems to be the best for the first 4 or 5 laps, and then Grant just hammers away on those consistently fast lap times.
And he's led 47 laps tonight, so statistically he has been the one. For those of you looking for the PBA Players Championship, we will get you there at the conclusion of this race. It follows the NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series racing here at Kansas. 18 laps remaining, just said it. Grant Enfinger's been the one, 47 laps out front. Some really good racing inside the top 10. We update the progress of rookie Jake Garcia getting by fellow rookie Taylor Gray. A couple of high school seniors battling in the top 10 here at Kansas.
Taylor Gray told us earlier today he's already graduated, Adam. He homeschooled and graduated in February from high school.
I want to go back and talk about Tony Breidinger. You mentioned just a minute ago, first ever start and the first Arab American to race, a woman to race in the Truck Series, and doing an outstanding job and doing it through some difficult times because she had to race in the heat of the day during the ARCA event earlier and bounces out here tonight. Throw in, you know, the practice and qualifying that comes with that, but first opportunity in the one truck for Tricon and solid inside the top 20.
Well, tonight is one of those nights that if you just keep your truck rolling around making solid laps with all the attrition, you're going to wind up with a good finish. And I think that's obviously probably the goal tonight for Tony, to be able to just go out there, run all the laps, and finish the race. And tonight it's going to result in probably a decent finish.
Yeah, and you know, the thing about it, you get to learn. You get to get that experience and see what it's like as your tires go off and what your balance is like. She just puts all that in the bank. Be able to be better next time she goes out.
Those are the drivers that are racing twice in one day here at Kansas.
And that's a full day's work today.
Big time.
It has been warm. And as a driver, when you get into those situations like we are today, where you get a super hot day that you weren't expecting and it's the first one of the year, it takes a toll on you. So racing twice is quite a feat today.
And as we talk about that one truck, next couple of weeks, Bubba Wallace behind the wheel at Darlington in North Wilkesboro. We look forward to that.
Got a little Willie B action as well, isn't it? Don't we?
In the 51.
Driving for Kyle Busch. Maybe he'll be the one to get that 100th win.
Kyle said no thank you on that. Huh? His next start, Kyle's next start in the 51 Pocono. That'll be his last of 2023.
He's scratched his way up to 7th.
Yeah, and we've seen him creep up closer to the wall. And usually when you have a tight truck, you can move up closer to the wall and help it turn. And he's shallow entry and center of the corner right up next to the wall, trying to help that thing turn.
There's Ross Chastain. He started from the back, and has made his way all the way up to the 6th spot. So not the truck he was hoping to have tonight, I don't think, but steadily consistent, misses the wrecks, and is trying to fight his way into the top 5.
Talk about the ARCA drivers doing double duty. Ross Chastain, Kyle Busch, those that will race tonight and tomorrow. Brent Poole also on that list. Coverage tomorrow, race day at 2 Eastern time from here in Kansas on FS1, and we'll have race coverage on FS1 as well at 3 o'clock. Grant Enfinger coming into the race and led 3 laps this season. Wow. Comes by the start-finish line, putting 54 laps led on the board. And 11 to go tonight.
He just loves this track, doesn't he? Always runs well here. Problems there for the 98 Majeski. I think that left front tire maybe.
I think it's the right front.
I hope Enfinger doesn't see that. He doesn't want a caution here.
It looks like the whole front.
Yeah.
The whole front is a mess.
The front is a mess, Michael.
Gets it to pit road.
I think right front's flat.
Yeah. Well, like you said, as Grant Enfinger swings by and he gets it to pit road with 10 to go, that's a good feeling.
How about it, Amanda?
Adam, I talked to Grant yesterday just how he feels about 7 races into the season, and even with those 3 top 10 finishes we've seen out of him, he said that they have not been where they wanted to be, but the truck has just had so much great potential, but they've just had little mistakes here and there. He said that the key to the race tonight was going to be that the restarts would be huge, and wow, have we seen that out of Grant Enfinger here tonight.
And let's give some credit to the man right of your screen, Crew Chief Jeff Hensley, who's been around forever in the Craftsman Truck Series, and someone who just knows how to massage on these things. And we know you practice during the day, you race at night, it's cooled off. It was sunshine when we began. We're full darkness now, racing under the lights. That puts a lot of pressure on the man on the pit box.
Well, when we had our race teams at KHI, Jeff Hensley was one of my favorite employees that we ever had. He was always calm. He was always, if he didn't know, he'd say, I don't know. And he was always just straight up honest with you, and just such a simple person. So it's definitely a good person to have on the pit box. You see him getting frustrated right there. He's frustrated because I think those people are clapping behind him.
Yeah, they're cheering. No, don't do that.
He does not want anybody cheering behind him to jinx anything that's happening. So that's an old school racer right there saying, hey, no cheering. We're not racing. No, don't cheer until the race is over.
You know what's great, Adam? We talked so much about the youth movement in the truck series.
7 laps to go as Grant Enfinger crosses the start-finish line this time by. He is about a 2-second lead on Corey Heim. He's dealing with quite a bit of lap traffic right now, but with this being a pretty wide racetrack, one of the widest mile-and-a-halfs on the schedule, and there's a lot of different lanes to be had in the middle of the corners here as well, I think he should be okay and holding on to win this race. And take his time, navigate through it, make sure he makes some clean passes. Corey Heim about 2/10 quicker that last lap. He's just getting into the back of the lap trucks that Enfinger has been just making his way through right now. Enfinger able to go back to the outside lane. He had to pass a couple of them down on the bottom. Still a 1.8 second lead over Heim. Coming up on 5 laps to go this time by. Just needing this race to stay green until at least the white flag comes out. Trying to get the win for GMS here in the Truck Series. Grant Enfinger would be the 5th different driver to lock himself into the truck playoffs as well. We'd only have 5 spots available. Still 8 races left in the regular season after tonight. Truck Series will be racing again next week at Darlington. And then the following week at North Wilkesboro, followed by Charlotte, Gateway, and Sonoma. So a lot of races. Actually, the trucks are not raced at Sonoma this year. My bad. They were last year. But they do have 4 straight weeks of racing, which you don't typically see that out of the Truck Series. So it's a good chance for these teams that are having good speed and good runs tonight to maybe keep that momentum up over the weeks to come. It's a lot harder during the strength of the schedule or the stretch of the schedule where there's a lot of weeks off for teams to keep any sort of momentum just because they're not traveling and racing on a week-to-week basis. 3 to go right now for Enfinger. And in just the span of about 3 laps, he's opened the lead up over Heim by about another second. Heim has a 1 second advantage over Zane Smith right now for P2 as well. Closest battle of the top 10 would be for 5th between Nick Sanchez and Ross Chastain. And that's pretty much the only battle of any at all going on inside the top 10. 2 to go. 3 miles left. Surprisingly, Grant Enfinger will have led the most laps in today's race by a pretty wide margin over the next closest driver. Over 50 more laps led, or almost 50 more laps led than the next closest driver, which would have been Ben Rhodes with 17 laps led in today's race. White flag in the air, 1 lap to go, sponsored by Credit One Bank as Enfinger goes down to the apron, trying to take the shortcut, desperately trying to take the shortest way possible to get to that white flag. This is the last lap of tonight's race. Enfinger going to dominate, leads almost half the race, sporadically, of course, throughout, especially in stages 2 and 3, but wins the race, had to survive in the middle. Quite a few cautions at the start of Stage 3, but a longer green flag run to end it off. Grant Enfinger wins his first race of 2023 as he wins the Heart of America 200 at Kansas. Corey Heim will finish in second place. Margin of victory 4.3 seconds. Zane Smith ends up finishing third. Stuart Friesen fourth, and Ross Chastain will round out the top 5 this evening. He got by Sanchez on the last lap. Nick Sanchez finishes 6th, Kyle Busch 7th. Jake Garcia finishes 8th, his second top 10 in the 35 truck this year. Taylor Gray finishes 9th, and Tyler Ankrum will round out the top 10. Matt Crafton finishes 11th, Haley Deegan 12th, and she was the last driver to finish on the lead lap today. Daniel Dye finishes 13th, Brett Holmes 14th, Tony Breidinger 15th, Ben Rhodes 16th, Lawless Allen 17th, Tanner Gray 18th, Johnny Sutter 19th, Brennan Poole will finish 20th, Nick Lights 21st, Tyler Hill 22nd, Justin Carroll 23rd, Josh Reaume will finish in 24th, Ty Majeski 25th, Spencer Boyd 26th, Mason Maggio 27th, Chris Wright 28th, Matt DiBenedetto 29th, Christian Eck is 30th, 31st was Carson Hocevar, Dean Thompson 32nd, Chase Purdy 33rd, Raja Krut 34th, Colby Howard 35th, and Tim Baines will round out the 36 truck field today. 1 hour, 59 minutes, 24 seconds total time on today's race. 98.68 miles per hour was the average race speed for this 200-mile, 134-lap race. Grant Enfinger with the Polish victory lap on the front stretch right now. You'll get to hear from him and maybe some of the other top finishers in today's race. Truck race has gone slightly past the scheduled air time. Flagman waiting to give the checkered flag to Grant. I think he's unbuckling himself so he can get out and reach.
You know, Kevin, you never know when your last win is, and it doesn't matter if you're 38 or you're 40, whatever you are. You just savor all those wins. Any one of them you can get. You can tell how special this looks to Grant.
Let's go to Josh.
Grant Enfinger, you've been so close here at Kansas in the past. What was different for you tonight in this dominant win?
You know, Kansas has been a good track for us, but we haven't had a dominant truck like this in a long time. So Jeff Hensley did this for me a few years ago, but I think lights out. We have the best Chevy Silverado out here. Thank you to Champion Power Equipment for sticking with me. It's been a dismal year and a half, I know we came up with a win last year, but overall the season was a little sluggish. First 7 races this year was a little sluggish. I was disappointed in our execution. But Jeff talked to me before the race. He gave me some encouragement. He did a heck of a job tonight. But the biggest thing is these guys just brought me an unbelievable Chevy Silverado. So thank you to GM and their military appreciation initiative. So it's pretty special. Got a red, white, and blue truck there. So definitely very, very cool. So thank you to Dane, everybody at Chevrolet. Thank you to Dennis, Tryon, Todd, Marty, everybody at Champion Power Equipment that's stuck with me. I definitely think this team is capable of doing this each and every week. I'm glad we still able to do it today.
Grant, can you break down the pass you made with about 30 to go? You did a 2 past 2 guys for the lead. Walk me through that.
You know, Zayden helped me out there. They side drafted each other a little bit there. But at the end of the day, what made that pass possible is we have the best truck out here. So thank you to Jeff Hensley. Thank you to the Fab Shop, Jerry, to GMS Fabrication. Everybody has worked so hard on these things. I don't feel like we've truly shown it, but a few times since the year and a half I've been over here. So we're going to show a lot more this year. But yeah, they got side by side, made it a little easier on us, but I feel like we have the truck to beat anyway.
Congratulations.
Corey Heim just told us that he knows he had a truck that could have won this race, and I heard you on your radio apologizing to your team. Is there a moment that you wish you had back?
Yeah, I think that last caution really played a role in the finish there. I mean, the 23 was clearly the best truck, and a couple of them got kind of wiped out in that big wreck earlier as well. But, you know, if we had that same tire strategy and didn't get that last caution, I think we're going to be in really good shape. But just hats off to everyone at Tricon Garage, Safe Flight. Huge thank you to those guys that have been working so hard, Twitter Racing, everyone that makes it happen. So this is a big step in the right direction for us. I feel like we kind of struggled at Vegas and Texas, but this is definitely a big step in the right direction. So I'm looking forward to the next one.
Thank you, Corey. We'll see you soon in Darlington.
Appreciate it.
Back-to-back races that were really solid for Corey Heim. First at Martinsville, second tonight. And they're talking things over after the incident on track. Ty Majeski, Roger Caruth.
You know, we talk about learning, and this is part of that learning process. You don't just go get in your car and leave because you're disappointed. You got to figure out what you did that you could do better and what your competitor saw, the much more experienced Ty Majeski. That's a good moment. That's a beautiful picture right there. Not because those two are just sitting there chatting, just because of the effort that it took for Raja to get there to be with Ty.
Yeah, well, you know, and that's how the NASCAR ecosystem works, right? You learn from the people who have the experience, and that's the great thing about Raja is he's willing to learn.
Grant Enfinger wins tonight. He's kind of a throwback.
That is going to round out the FS1 coverage for tonight's race, and that will also round out our coverage as well. Appreciate everybody that tuned in here tonight on a Saturday to listen and watch tonight's live commentary stream. For more live commentary coverage, tune in tomorrow for the NASCAR Cup race. Our live commentary stream will begin at 2:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time for the Kansas Speedway NASCAR Cup Series race. We did hit our goal tonight of 100 likes on the stream. We are at 103 as we speak, so thank you everybody for helping us hit our goal. On the road to 5,000 subscribers on the channel as well, so definitely subscribe if you haven't as well already. See you guys tomorrow afternoon for some more NASCAR racing. Have a good rest of your night, everybody.